The Finnhorse, the horse that carried a nation through the dark. Imagine a country surrounded by enemies. It's November 30th, 1939. The Soviet Union, the largest army on Earth, has just invaded Finland with nearly 500,000 soldiers, thousands of tanks, and more aircraft than Finland has pilots. Finland has almost nothing. No tanks that matter. A handful of planes held together with prayer and sheet metal. And an army of farmers, teachers, and lumberjacks asked to defend their homeland in temperatures that reach -40. But Finland has one thing the Soviets do not: a horse. Not a war horse, not in the way you're imagining. No armored cavalry charges. No thundering columns. Something quieter. Something harder. A small chestnut horse pulling sleds of ammunition through forests so deep the sunlight never reaches the ground. Hauling wounded soldiers to field hospitals, dragging cannons into position on frozen trails where trucks sink to their axles and die. The Soviets had machines. Finland had the Finnhorse. And the Finnhorse didn't break down in the cold. Over 20,000 of these horses died in the winter and continuation wars. They were not soldiers. They were farm horses, taken from barns across the country, from families who handed over the reins and watched them walk toward the sound of guns. This is the story of the only horse Finland ever created, a breed so woven into the soul of a nation that losing it would mean losing a piece of what it means to be Finnish. Welcome back to Saddle and Saga. If you love real horse history, the kind that makes your chest tight, subscribe and join the saga. Now let's go to Finland. Forged in the longest winters. To understand the Finnhorse, you need to feel Finland. Not the travel guide version, the real Finland. The land of 100,000 lakes, where winter lasts 7 months and the sun disappears entirely for weeks in the north. Where temperatures drop so low that exposed skin freezes in minutes. This is not where you keep a horse alive. This is where you discover what a horse truly is. For centuries, the Finnish people survived on the edge of the inhabitable world with a horse that could pull timber from snowbound forests, plow rocky fields in summer, and stand in unheated barns through 18-hour nights. The Finnhorse wasn't bred for beauty. It was bred for survival. Generation after generation, horses that couldn't endure the cold and hunger didn't make it. The ones that did passed their toughness down like an inheritance that couldn't be spent. By the time the official Studbook was established in 1907, the Finnhorse was already ancient. Its ancestors had carried the legendary Finnish light cavalry, the Hakepliitat, into the chaos of the 30 Years' War in the 1600s, becoming the absolute terror of Central Europe. 4 horses, 1 breed. Here's what makes the Finnhorse different. Most horse breeds specialize. A thoroughbred races, a Clydesdale pulls. The Finnhorse is all of them. Finns realized early on that their one native breed couldn't afford to specialize. The same horse had to race, ride, and plow. So they built a breed that does everything, formalizing it into 4 types within one Studbook. The trotter for speed, the riding horse for sport, the workhorse for draft, and the pony-sized Finnhorse. Same breed, same bloodlines. 4 paths through one extraordinary animal. Nearly all modern Finnhorses trace their lineage back to 4 foundation stallions born between 1879 and 1929. In the Saddle and Saga world, I call the Finnhorse the Finnish knife, the puukko. It's not flashy, but it does everything you need, better than anything else, and it never lets you down. The warhorse nobody remembers. This is the part of the story that rarely makes it into breed profiles. But it should. When the Soviet Union invaded, the Finnish military was woefully outmatched in every measurable way except one: logistics. In a country of trackless forests and waist-deep snow, Soviet tanks bogged down. Their supply lines froze solid. But the Finnish army kept moving because of the horse. The Finnhorse was the backbone of military logistics, hauling medical supplies and artillery through terrain that stopped machines. They did it in darkness and silence. These were requisitioned family horses. A farmer would watch the horse his children named loaded onto a transport truck heading to the front. 20,000 died. Soldiers wrote in their diaries of the unbearable guilt of watching them collapse, sharing their own rations with them, weeping when they fell. And here's the detail that stays with me. When the surviving horses were demobilized, many were released and simply found their way home. Across unfamiliar miles, over frozen lakes, back to the barns where they were born, as if the war was just an interruption. In 1997, a war horse monument was unveiled in Seinäjoki for the horses who carried a nation through its darkest hours and asked for nothing but to come home. The crash, and then, the world didn't need them anymore. After the war, modernization arrived at lightning speed. Tractors replaced horses on farms. Trucks replaced them in forestry. The numbers read like a tragedy. From over 400,000 Finnhorses in the 1950s, the population was in free fall, surviving at just 14,000 by 1987. Hundreds of thousands of the horses whose grandparents carried soldiers through the war were sent to slaughter. The Finnhorse wasn't killed by enemies. It was quietly erased by progress, saved by speed. But the story turns on something unexpected: speed. The Finnhorse is a cold-blooded working horse, which should mean it's slow. It isn't. It's one of the fastest cold-blooded trotting breeds in the world. When farms vanished, the Racetrack saved the breed. The Kuninkuusrevit, the royal races, remains one of Finland's largest public events. Legends like the five-time racing King Visker, the first Finnhorse to earn over €1 million, became national heroes. Every packed grandstand was a nation saying, "We still need this horse." The Racetrack gave the Finnhorse a second act that the farms could no longer provide. The body built for everything. Stand next to a Finnhorse, and you see what 1,000 years of survival looks like. Standing 14, 2 to 15, 3 hands, they are exactly the size to do everything. They possess a dry, muscular build, an impossibly deep chest built for stamina, and hooves as hard as frozen ground. Most are the warm chestnut of autumn forests with a flaxen mane that catches the light. But their temperament is where you fall in love. The Finns call it Sisu, stubborn courage and the refusal to quit when quitting is the only rational option. The Finnhorse has Sisu. You ask it to do something impossible, and it just tries harder. 1,000 years of Finnish winter taught it that panicking wastes energy, and wasted energy means death. A nation's horse. In 2007, the Finnhorse was declared the national horse of Finland. Not a symbol chosen by politicians, but a horse chosen because every Finn already knew. The Finnhorse is Finland. It is Sisu with 4 legs and a flaxen mane. Today, the population has stabilized at around 20,000. The original workhorse type is the most endangered, and conservationists fight to keep those ancient genetics alive. Preserving the breed means keeping all 4 types alive because the Finnhorse was never one thing. It was everything. What I want you to remember here is what the Finnhorse taught me. Some horses are famous for their beauty, some for their speed, some for the kings who rode them. The Finnhorse is famous because it showed up. Every single time. When crops failed, it showed up. When the largest army on earth crossed the border, it showed up. When progress nearly erased it, it ran so fast a nation remembered why it mattered. It's the only horse Finland ever made. Stubborn, quiet, and absolutely, completely unwilling to disappear. If this story moved you, if you believe the honest, unglamorous survivors deserve their moment, hit subscribe. Because the horses that carried us through the dark deserve to be remembered in the light. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.